it was interesting how he viewed it, that he thought apparently they'd given him a really big, tough training session on the Saturday, and I suppose he'd only really got back Wednesday, Thursday from international break. So, and they do have to actually train the boy for him to be able to play football matches. So they wanted a proper recovery day. But what Arne said was, we want to give him 45 minutes plus. And it'll come, he almost guaranteed it, against Atletico or Everton, but he implied, and this was the crucial bit, not both.
Yes.
So it seems to me that he's treating it almost, the introduction of Isak, as almost literally like a pre-season. It's not the same as bringing back an injured player.
No.
If you're bringing back an injured player, like say Frimpong, we brought on for 25 minutes. Now he's had an injury, it's kept him out for 4 or 5 weeks. Frimpong probably doesn't start, but he probably gets another 15, 25 minutes, and so on until he plays. But in a pre-season, you don't play every 3 days. You build up very, very gradually. You train for a week, you have 45 minutes against Preston away reserves, then 6 days later you may play another side and get another 45. But what you don't play, so for example, if he plays, what were we saying? Say he gets half an hour 45 against Atletico. Everton only comes Saturday 12:30.
Yes, very close.
He's still in, I think, what Arna's implying, in recovery mode. You don't see sight nor sound of him against Everton. But of course, he could go the other way and go, let's keep working on the training pitch. It's Everton who he'll play against, albeit part of the second half. And so he might go at 7-day breaks. So he might go Everton, 7 days later Palace, 7 days later Chelsea.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because obviously the fact that there are these 2 more international breaks coming, so there are a couple of natural stoppages, and Liverpool are going to have to rely on Sweden and John Dahl Tomasson to kind of buy into their plan.
John Dahl Tomasson, sorry to interrupt, will, I think, be banking on the next break, starting Alexander Isak in both games, and Liverpool will know this.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. So Liverpool have to take that into consideration, that even if they are going to have a slowly approach, they will need to have almost got to the end of that slowly approach by the time Sweden comes round. Otherwise, it's going to completely mess it up. But I'm fascinated by the idea of how he picks who he thinks Isak should play against. Because you said there is a real choice between Atletico and Everton. Because taking your point of it being like pre-season, the one thing pre-season does is it's all about training. It's not really about the games. And as Slot said after the game against Burnley, when he plays, he can't train. So it's in either or, and he's going to prioritise the training side. But then you look at the opponents, you think about the kind of games it is. You remember, this is Alexander Isak who played in La Liga, so he'll know Simeone and he'll know Atletico Madrid. And yes, it's a different team, but I mean, Simeone's Simeone. So it's not going to be that different. Whereas obviously Everton, the white hot heat of a Merseyside derby, even if it is going to be a Saturday lunchtime snooze fest, sorry lads. Which one would you be putting him in?
It's difficult because obviously I'm anxious, as everyone is, to see him play. So the thought of seeing him play tomorrow really suits my impatience. But if I'm being objective about it, the Premier League, the 3 points against Everton are more important than the 3 points against Atletico Madrid tomorrow night. I would argue. I just think there's less margin for error at this stage in the Premier League, whereas, you know, you want to stay top of the bloody Premier League, whereas you don't need to be top, as we found out.
No.
Still need points on the board, so I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying we don't need points. I'm not saying a win against Atletico wouldn't be big. And I actually think the team could do with a bit of a statementy win, even if it's a narrow one against. But Atletico is a big challenge. They could do with a statementy win, which seems greedy after 4 wins on the bounce. But to answer your question, I'd just be tempted to see him for the last 35 against Everton, you know? I know your feelings are that there's risk in that.
Yeah, I would go the other way. I would play him for Atletico because I take your point about the fact that there's more time in the Champions League, but I do think it's important to get off to a good win. Big game at home, particularly when you've got 2 away games straight after that. Tough places in Galatasaray and a flying Frankfurt at the moment. So getting off to a good start.
But would you take a win against Atletico, draw against Everton?
I would want to...
Not take. I mean, but if there was a trade-off, which way round would you have it?
I'm not trading. I want to win them both, Rob.
Okay,
and I think
right.
and the other thing we have to remember, Arne Slot doesn't have Chiesa for the Champions League. He has Chiesa for Everton. So he has an extra weapon to throw in against Everton that he doesn't have against Atletico. So I would be more inclined to see Isak play against Atletico, even if it's only half of the game.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.